All of our trust, our mutual respect, and the totality of our friendships is, in the first instance, born of the shared service and sacrifice of those that came before us. It's for this reason I'd like to thank Lori Bolton, Dean Small, Dean's late father Ken, the Royal Tank Regiment Association, and so many others who, on their own accord and over the course of decades, have done the careful and dedicated work that enables each of us here today to consider Exercise Tiger and remember the American servicemen killed by enemy action in the waters of this bay 80 years ago. Today, I'd submit our remembrance, our lasting affinity with these heroes of yesteryear provides for a more complete understanding of our world and who we are within it, as well as a clearer agreement on everything that we together are willing to defend. 639 American sons with lives cut terribly short. Our compassion for them as human beings deployed so far from home, our sympathy for their loved ones left with so many unanswered and genuinely unanswerable questions, and our consideration as to how this tragedy affected the whole of the communities in the local area. All of this ultimately allows us to begin to understand the significance of the undertaking in which our forebears all played a part. Their example brings front and center the nature of our human condition. It brings the obligation for each of us to serve in our own and meaningful ways. And especially in times of great consequence, it shows us the collective fidelity that is required to endure and to grow. They helped to give us our better peace, and they showed us what is sometimes required to preserve it. 639 soldiers and sailors of the United States of America, rest in peace.
Good afternoon, everyone. As someone who lost a family member in this tragic D-Day dress rehearsal, I'm so very grateful for your presence here today to honor the 639 American soldiers and sailors who perished in Exercise Tiger. I'm honored to be here with my fellow Americans, many of whom have come to remember their loved one who died or their loved one who survived. This memorial is very special to us, as it gives us a tangible place to come and pay tribute, especially for those of us whose family member is at rest with the ships in Line Bay. We can come here to remember them, and we can see all their names at this Sherman Tank Memorial, which is so meaningful to each of us. They are no longer forgotten. I traveled to England for the first time in 1994, and I came here to thank Ken Small personally for establishing this memorial tribute to remember the men who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. That was the year my family finally discovered the truth of exactly how my uncle died, because the survivors began to speak of Exercise Tiger on national television for the first time after 50 years of silence. 10 years later, I returned here for the 60th anniversary, this time with survivor veterans and family members. I did not see Ken or his car, but there was a young man on his knees close to the tank with a paintbrush in his hand. I asked him if he was Dean Small, and he smiled and said, "Yes, I am." Sadly, his dad had passed away the month before. I am honored to be standing next to him and be a part of Exercise Tiger Memorial. We are so grateful to Dean and his wife Sarah for continuing his father's legacy. For the past 20 years, I have been here to witness the dedication of the Royal Tank Regiment as they faithfully held a memorial service every year. We are so thankful to them and for the support of the local British citizens who sacrificed so much during the evacuation of this area. It is so hard to believe that 80 years have passed since that early morning disaster in Lime Bay. Sadly, most of the survivors are gone now. We miss them so very much. But we are so thankful that their stories remain on our website, exercisetiger.com. We will always, always cherish the memories of our time with them. 5 years ago, at the 75th anniversary, I described the details of the German E-boat attack on the convoy, the suffering of the young soldiers and sailors in the frigid waters, and the heartache of their families. However, for this 80th anniversary, we believe the most moving account of the tragedy can be read in the transcript of a letter we received recently, which is posted on our homepage. The letter was written by Ensign Thomas Clark of LST 507 to his father in July 1944. It is one of the most compelling first-hand accounts we've ever read from a survivor. On May 27th, 2019, our National Memorial Day, Cambridge American Cemetery held a special memorial service for the 75th anniversary of D-Day. To publicize the event, they had a huge sign with a photograph of a smiling American soldier, 19-year-old Sergeant Lewis A. Bolton. On the sign were the words,